Hey everyone, Leo Bond here. I'm back again today for the Best Buy Canada plug-in blog, and this time it's with a dual review. That is, two awesome toys in one video. This time around, it's a couple of radio-controlled vehicles. First, there's the 1/18th scale Traxxas LaTrax SST, and then there's its perfectly scaled cousin, the Traxxas LaTrax Teton. Now, throughout the video, I'll alternate clips of both cars driving around, and I'll also insert a clip of the SST up close just to show what these things are all about. Now, although I'll be looking at the SST up close, rest assured that both vehicles have the same key features under the hood, and they're also both basically monster trucks. Now, the SST has sort of a race car styling to it, whereas the Teton seems more like an SUV. It kind of reminds me of a Bronco, but aside from their look, these four-wheel drive RC vehicles have a whole lot in common, and that's where we're going to start. Among the common features here, aside from the fact that they're both 1/18th scale and therefore they match up quite well in any sort of head-to-head type contest, is the fact that both the SST and the Teton are capable of reaching speeds of up to 32 kilometers an hour, so that's 20 miles an hour, and they also feature the exact same 2.4 gigahertz Traxxas controller, which is a long-range transmitter that gives you excellent control over these vehicles, and we'll take a closer look at that here in just a minute or so. But first, continuing on with the commonalities, both vehicles are powered by a 7.2 volt NIMH battery, which is meant to give them about 15 minutes of total running time, although I personally found that I only get about 10 or 12 minutes in each case. Now, by the way, both cars come with a 2 amp DC charger that plugs exclusively into a car cigarette lighter type of charger, so not the most convenient setup in the world really. Now, I certainly would have liked to seen a standard wall adapter included with these cars myself, but at least the chargers that they do come with are fast chargers, and they really are pretty fast. It only took me a few minutes to get these things fully charged up and ready for action, so I do have to be pretty happy with that. Additionally, both cars feature full ball bearings as well as differentials with steel ring and pinion gears, so very high quality parts, and they've also got waterproof electronics, so you can drive them outside in the rain if you want to, or through puddles or whatever. Really very cool stuff. LaTrax calls it all-weather electronics, and they even back it up with the LaTrax Lifetime Electronics Warranty, so really very reassuring there as well. And of course, both vehicles are pretty much ready to run right out of the package, so there's no assembly required or anything like that. It's just a matter of charging them up and heading outside. Alright, now let's just take a quick sort of close-up look at the SST here. And the first thing that I want to show is the outer shell, or the body of the vehicle, which is kept in place with 4 cotter pins, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. Now, I've already removed the ones in the back, and I just want to show how flexible this is. There's a lot of give to this, and this is great when you have an accident, a rollover, or you bump into something. It really protects the rest of the chassis, and this thing doesn't break very easily. You know, I've had a few accidents already, and it really holds together quite well. It also looks nice. It's got this gray, black, and red color scheme, so very, very nice. We'll just put that aside and we'll take a look at the rest of the chassis. So as you can see, there's an excellent suspension system on this. It's got individually suspended tires. And of course, you've got a nice coil spring there and oil-filled shocks, which is something that you always like to see in a vehicle like this. In fact, this thing really rivals some of the much higher-end Traxxas toys. Now, the on-off switch is just right there, that little tiny dot. And the last thing that I want to show is the battery, and basically how that goes in. So it's already in, as you can see, and there's a cotter pin holding this little blue clip in place. And you just pop that out just like that, and then the battery will come out. And of course, it just plugs in right here just like that. There is one other thing I want to mention too. The engine, of course, is mounted just in here, and it is a four-wheel drive vehicle. So let's just take a look now at the remote control. And just to quickly look at the remote here, of course, it's a pretty standard Traxxas controller. You've got your nice padded steering wheel up on the top here. You've got your little trigger for forwards and for backwards. So backwards is just push the trigger out. In the middle is basically the stopped or braking position. You've also got this little steering trim knob here. So you dampen down the trim by putting it more to the left. I generally keep it more in the center. That's probably the best position. But if you really want to do some wild donuts, just turn it all the way to the right and you'll pretty much lose control altogether. This little red button up here is just a set button at the top. Of course, the on-off switch down here at the bottom, and you're always meant to turn the transmitter on first and off last, and I'm not quite sure why that is. But finally, the batteries go in the bottom here, and it takes 4 AA's, and what's really neat about this particular model is that it actually comes with the Duracells, so very, very nice. In the final analysis, these LaTrax trucks are great little RC vehicles that are worthy of high praise. They've got speed relative to their size, they've got power, they've got traction, particularly thanks to those excellent big tires with those deep treads, and of course they've got stability with the great suspension systems, and they've got a whole lot of toughness as well with those excellent flexible outer shells. They're also heaps of fun to play with. Now, I certainly enjoyed my time testing them, and I do recommend them to any RC car enthusiast. And if you happen to be a fan of champion off-road racer Sheldon Creed, then I'd have to say to go for the SST, which is actually a special Sheldon Creed edition. Now, if you're not sure who that is, you can easily learn all about him with just a quick Google search. And if you are a fan of Sheldon Creed, or you just like this type of toy in general, and as long as your size expectations aren't all out of whack, after all, this thing is nowhere near the size of something like the Traxxas Slash or the Summit, but if you're okay with a smaller Traxxas model, then you're really in for a treat with this one. And that's all I'm going to say about these fine little RC trucks for now. Of course, there's also the complete written review at the Best Buy Canada plug-in blog, so do check that out if you haven't already. And as always, this is Leo Bond signing off and saying thanks everyone for watching, and have an excellent day.